Blake Corum is arguably the best running back coming back in college football, but he missed the biggest games at the end, and Donovan Edwards almost ran for 1,000 yards just based on what he was able to do the last 3 games of the season. He was that good.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I thought about this as Michigan elevated Sherrone Moore to offensive coordinator. It's like, what offensive coordinator steps into a role where they have a 5-star quarterback, a 5-star running back as their backup, and one of the Heisman finalists until he got hurt last year, and their starting running back? Like, that is pretty impressive. So this running back room is really phenomenal. For Michigan to bring back Blake Corum is something else. And I'll say this too, not only from a talent standpoint, but Blake Corum is a leader. He is a guy, and it's not vocals. He's not outspoken, but every single other player that watches him says he is no doubt the hardest worker in the weight room, and it shows and it leaks off into them as well. It gets to a point where he's working so hard that they need to get in there too. Now, he's still rehabbing that knee right now, but he is definitely getting to a point where he's going to be working on his craft, and him and Donovan are going to be a heck of a combo here in this 2023 season.
Do you expect this to be a situation in which maybe they're not alternating, but also Blake's not just the clear number one and Donovan barely plays? Obviously, they're going to get him on the field. He's a tremendous pass receiver, where there's maybe a 70-30 distribution of carry, something like that.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be much more closer to 50-50 than it was this past year. I know Donovan, he's made it known in some interviews that he wants a good chunk of those carries. But I think that, they bring a little bit different vibe too. So I can see Michigan using them in some different ways. Donovan is a great pass catcher out of the backfield, so I wonder if they try and get them both on the field at the same time as well. But I would see it closer to that 50-50, maybe even like 60-40, 65-35, something like that, for the balance there in the backfield. And you look at what happened to Blake Corum at the end of the year, I think it's going to be good that they're going to lessen the load of both of those guys, so that the goal is by the end of the 2023 season, both those guys are healthy, going into that Ohio State game, and hopefully a Big Ten championship and college football playoff as well.
Justin, we saw C.J. Stokes get some work. Do we expect, whether it be him or a third back, to get meaningful carries?
Yes, C.J. Stokes is a good young kid that's coming up, and I think that he's going to get the chunk of that third back carries that Michigan will run. They obviously run the ball a lot, so I think we will see him throughout the year. I don't see anybody else. Maybe a Kalel Mullings is getting in there. I'm not sure what side of the ball he's going to play. He does play some linebacker as well, and was in some short yardage situations for Michigan. But C.J. Stokes is a really, really good running back. And so if Blake Corum were to have gone to the NFL, I would have had no problem with him stepping into a bigger role for Michigan here too.